All right, so for my interview section, I'm going to be speaking with Victoria Badham. Victoria works at the Toronto Wildlife Centre managing their education and outreach program. And just a quick disclaimer, everything that Victoria speaks on in this interview is purely her own opinion and not the overall view of the Toronto Wildlife Centre. Okay, so for number one, we would like to know, should zoos only take care of endangered animals in order to aid with conservation, or should they keep taking care of non-endangered animals as well?
Yeah, so I think that zoos definitely play a big role in conservation, both from reestablishing wild populations in the wild, as well as the education aspect. Um, so I guess focusing with non-endangered species, repopulating them in the wild isn't so much of an issue. So, but there is still that education piece that's really important because, as you know, I work at Toronto Wildlife Centre, and what we see time and time again is that people really actually don't know very much about the natural behaviors of wild species. So I think that zoos do have a role to play in that. They give people the opportunity to see animals up close in a way that they normally wouldn't. I will preface that though by saying that not all zoos are created equal. Um, some are more based in entertainment than education. And I personally think that those zoos probably shouldn't have any animals at all because, wild animals aren't here to do tricks for people. The focus really should be about how we as humans can peacefully coexist with wildlife, respect their space, ensure that we leave enough habitat for them to survive for future generations. So I think that education piece goes across species, not those that are just endangered.
Why do we have animals that are not at risk at zoos as well? And is there any benefit to the animals, or is it just purely for human entertainment?
Well, I don't know if there's any benefit to the animal themselves, except for the fact that I think mostly, hopefully, they've been bred in captivity and like actually can't survive in the wilds because they haven't been raised there. So I think as long as the animal has a proper an enclosure that's suitable to its needs, it's big enough, it has enrichment in it, they're treated humanely and given opportunities to follow their natural behaviors. It's not necessarily bad for them, but whether it's good for them is a whole other story. But I think there are different kinds of zoos, like I mentioned. So not all zoos are focused on entertainment, although I do think that a lot of them have at least a small entertainment piece because they do unfortunately still have to find ways to fund themselves.